Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. Today I'm at Mr Moo's Caravan Park on the East Coast in Yorkshire and I'm here to review this. This is the Coachman Sportivo 565 and Jules and I since March have actually been testing out this motorhome on a long-term review. So I'm going to be able to give you lots of information about it and how we found it, as well as the usual facts and figures. So the Sportivo, let's get straight in there and find out what we need to know about it. As we can see, it is based on the Mercedes and it will come as standard with a 2-litre diesel engine, 170 horsepower and automatic transmission. Whilst it's based on the Mercedes, it does have the ALKO chassis. Now this motorhome is actually a 3.5 tonne motorhome or 3,500 kilos, so you can drive it on your category B licence. However, if you've got your C1, you can upplate this to 3,900 kilos, making no adaptions, and then that's going to give you a considerable amount more payload. You may be asking, is this really a 3.5 tonne motorhome? Well, if you watch the channel, you'll know that we took it to a weighbridge and the answer is yes, you can use this as a 3.5 tonne motorhome. It does have 2 berths and 4 travel seats, and in terms of its size, this motorhome is 7 metres and 44 centimetres in length, it's 2 metres and 40 centimetres in width, and it's 2 metres and 90 centimetres in height. So it's a good size motorhome, and for a couple this is a perfect size. I'm going to go through a few bits and pieces as well as we go into the review. So those are the facts and figures. Let's talk about price. Now price, currently for 2025, a brand new Sportivo is going to cost you £114,000 with the optional electric awning added, which I'll show you. You can get some really good deals on these at the moment that I've seen on forecourts around the country. And for the money, I honestly don't think you're going to get more motorhome based on Mercedes for your money. And you'll see why as we go round, because of all the equipment that comes as standard. Let's make a start at the front. All the Sportivos will come with the white cab, the white sides and the green decals that we see. The Coachman name embossed at the top, and then the sunroof. That is a fixed sunroof, it doesn't open. Nice big Mercedes badge at the front, and then we've got some decals, the graphics here. On this one, we have got the LED lights on this one fitted. Now, in terms of the Mercedes, one thing I wanted to know when we collected this motorhome is how does it compare to Fiat? It is a different world. I can see why people spend extra to get Mercedes. The drive, the handling, and all the safety features are a different class. I would now find it hard to go back to Fiat. If you have got the money to afford a Mercedes, it is a different level of motorhoming altogether. Obviously, if your budget's Fiat, then that's what you're going to have. The drive itself is a fantastic drive. Air suspension can be added to these. Yes, it would make an improvement, especially if you're going heavier, but without it, you will find the handling very different to any other motorhome that you've driven that's not on the Mercedes. We'll venture off down the near side. So coming down, we have our electrically operated and heated wing mirrors. Now another thing that I found interesting is this motorhome is 2.4 metres wide. This is the widest motorhome that I have driven, but because the Mercedes cab is wide, the actual vehicle itself doesn't feel as big as I've driven. It seems very strange. I've been very surprised at how agile this feels. Continuing down, so these are the decals. As we can see, this sort of broken tile effect in the green, the Sportivo name. Up on the roof, as standard, you're going to get a 140 watt solar panel, Wi-Fi and a television aerial. So that is coming as standard. And as we come down, the Thule electric wind out awning, that comes in at that £114,000 price point. If you wanted to order one without the awning, it's going to be £112,000. I'll demonstrate the awning for you. In terms of where it's operated from, just inside the door, there is a button with 2 arrows on. If you press the outer arrow, that is going to bring the awning out electrically. As it comes out, what you need to do is stop it halfway, and then you're going to put down the legs of the awning and then continue to wind it out till it reaches its limit. Then move the legs underneath and put in the support arms. When you want to put it back in, you put the support arms back, bring the legs in slightly and then push the retraction button to bring it back to half again, then put your legs away and then again keep pressing that button until it goes all the way back in. Now on this one, we've actually had fitted an optional LED light that runs all the way under there. That's operated from the control panel. This is a standard awning light. This will come as standard, and it's got a sensor as well, so you can have it set so if somebody approaches your motorhome or you come back on at night time, that's going to come on automatically. Now coming down, actually, we'll mention this. We've had a few people comment about this lower step and saying, will it actually catch on anything? We've been over speed bumps on sites, we've been all sorts of different roads, we have to come off our driveway at an angle. We've not had any issues. So, and I've read in the Travel Master groups, Coachman Travel Master groups, and not read of anyone that I know of grounding out on there. So it hasn't been an issue for us. Next up, we've got the toilet cassette point, and here we've got a television socket as well. So if you're wanting to plug in on a site, you can. You've also got your aerial on the roof, as I mentioned. Now gas, this is fantastic. You're going to have storage for 2 11-kilo gas bottles, so plenty of gas for those travels when you're not on grid. Next up is the garage. So the Sportivo's got a really useful garage. I've taken some of our stuff out for the review, but normally we've had our e-bikes in here, tables and chairs, various pieces of equipment. So when the door is open, there is a hydraulic strut there that we can see. There is also, just situated here on the beds, if you operate this mechanism, the beds will lift up and that will give you more height in there if needs be. The garage is heated. I'll talk about the heating system when I come round to that. But it is the ALDE wet central heating, and there are ALDE heating bars around the garage door, so if you go skiing or you're in very cold climates, the doors won't freeze. But there's a really good amount of storage in here, and there's a couple of storage cupboards as well underneath, and then on that back wall there's also places to put items, and there's the tie down hooks as well. So that is the garage from the near side. Here you'll see it does sort of narrow at this end again. We've lifted bikes in there, not a problem. Now coming round to the back, I love a rear end, and look at this one, absolutely love it. Rear view camera up there. I have never had a rear view camera like that one. The view, the aspect back here when you are reversing is fantastic. That is a brilliant camera, very impressed with that. The Coachman name, the big Coachman badge, and then the Travel Master Sportivo rear LED lights. Absolutely love them. And you can see when I say about this being a wide motorhome, the size of the back end of the Sportivo. That is a big back end. I absolutely love it. Now we've got the garage door on the off side. So again in here, just gives you a perspective here on this side. Again, we've got some bits in there, our levelling ramps, the electric and our motorhome box. Good height, good size garage for motorhoming. Right. Onwards. So when you arrive at site, obviously you want to hook up. Here we have the electrical hookup point and then the vent for the ALDE wet central heating. As standard on this motorhome, you will get ALDE wet central heating and underfloor heating. And Jules and I have tested that out. It is amazing. What you're also going to find is on the Sportivo, the exterior wall is aluminium, then there's insulation, and then there's an interior aluminium wall as well. So that double aluminium is perfect for insulation for keeping you warm in winter and cooler in summer. You can see here the vents for the tower fridge and freezer. We'll talk about that inside. There is a vent for the extractor, the kitchen window, and then this is a handy little dry storage locker. Jules and I have got, we travel with our water in our dry storage locker, but a really handy locker. We can also put our electric cable in there. That's been handy. And then here is our water filling point on the off side. Now, when we collected the motorhome, one thing I wanted to test out was this water, because it's only got an 87 litre fresh water tank and a 90 litre grey waste, which those are quite small tanks. We've been used to a much bigger fresh water tank. But the 87 litre, we've had trips on a pitch for up to 5 days and we've not had to refill. So as it is, I've not actually run out of water, so it is completely manageable for our own touring. When it comes to the grey waste, again, say there 90 litre grey waste tank, it's got an electric dump. I'll show you that inside, but it's actually going to dump here, right here, just behind this tyre. So when you go to the grey water point at the motorhome service point, this is where you want to get over the drain. It's going to come out here. Really easy. You pull up, turn the motorhome off, it must be off, and then it pumps out. Right. Obviously in the UK, our motorhomes are right-hand drive. Now this motorhome is actually built in Sweden because Coachman are owned by Carber, a Swedish company who produce absolute premium luxury motorhomes and caravans. And that is why this motorhome is incredibly well put together and very well insulated. It's designed for those freezing cold climates. But here in the UK, obviously it comes standard with right-hand drive. You are going to get the Remis blinds in both these windows and the front windscreen. You do get heated seats for the driver and the passenger, and the seat itself has a number of manual and electric controls. Now, the grey waste, there's a dump here in the dashboard, and there's also one on the control panel that we'll see. The steering wheel is multifunctional, and you will have a mixture of digital and normal dials on that dashboard, and then that large infotainment system. The Mercedes has also got the Mercedes Me app, which Jules has been using. On the Mercedes Me app, you can control a lot of features of this motorhome. You can even unlock the motorhome, you can lock it, it'll tell you how much battery you've got, your miles per gallon you're doing. It'll even tell you where your motorhome is. It's got a tracker system. It's not a monitor tracker, it's not Thatcham approved, but it has got a tracking system. And there's various other things you can do as well on that. So that's the Mercedes Me app. Right, what we'll do is we will now venture inside and I'll show you the interior of the Sportivo. As you open the door, there is a hydraulic strut here that keeps that door in place. There is a concertina blind in here. You'll notice there's no bin, that's inside. Then you get this nice solid handle and the couple of steps in. You don't need an electric step because of this low drop step. It is easy to step in, and you do have a Coachman light here that will illuminate, and there's also, when you unlock the vehicle, a nice soft light that will come on here as well. We'll venture in and we'll make a start in the front of the Sportivo. So if I step in, I'll come straight up into the front first of all. So you do get the captain's chairs in the dark grey leather. These swivel, as you can see. Coachman embossed here, nice armrests as well. Now up in the front, we've already had a look from outside, so we don't need to go into this too much. That's our infotainment system. There is a blind that comes across, as I said. If I stand up, so this is the nice big sunroof. It is fixed, it doesn't open. You do get a big blind here as well, so you can pull that across for privacy, or if it is a warm day, you can close that down. Now above me, there's a light here, and then there's a large sunroof. Again, great on a warm day to let some heat out. There's lights dotted all around as well. The lighting system in the Sportivo is fantastic, and it's all operated off the control panel, which I'll come to, but lots of nice LED lights there. There's also a fantastic mood light system, so running all the way around the motorhome, around the front of the cab, down through the kitchen, and then around the fridge and into the back bedroom. There's this beautiful mood lighting. Jules and I have used this quite a lot on a night time. It's a lovely soft light, and that again is controlled on the control panel. You can turn all the lights off on the switch as you go into the bedroom on a night time as well if you want. So that is the lighting. Been really impressed with that all together. Now what I'll do is I'm going to start here, and then we'll make our way around, and then we'll talk about the control panel. So first of all, let me start in this locker. So this is where the television's actually going to go. So this is your television bracket. You can push it open like this, but when you want to get your telly out, under here, if you just push and drop down, you'll then access this bracket. You're going to pull this bracket down, and from here you're going to get your television out, and you can turn this all different directions. It comes away from the wall, so if you're sitting in the seats you can see it. You have got some view as well from the bedroom area to some degree, so you've got a lot of function with that bracket. When you finish with it, we push it back to where it should be, push it back up, and it's back into that cupboard. Close obviously these up, and there we go. Under there is this bench seat. Now this is fantastic as well. So this is great obviously for using to sit on, but under here we have a shoe storage cupboard. The problem we had before was we didn't have this and we had shoes all over the place, whereas now we can bob 3 or 4 pairs of shoes in there. So that's really handy. Coming round, now over here there's a foldable table. Now this is quite interesting. I've never had a collapsible table before. I've always had a fixed one. I didn't know how I'd get on with this, but I've actually got on well, very well with it. So if you want, you can drop the table and you can keep it in this format. When you want to get it out, we undo this strap. Now, my only thing on this is, I'm not sure how long this strap would last long term, I don't know. But you undo that strap and then we fold out the table. There is a leg, you keep the leg under the bed in the cupboard, put the leg in there, and then as well as the table itself, there's also the fold out part, the extension. So if you are sitting on the bench seat or you're in the passenger seat, captain's chair, you can reach this table. Jules has been using this as a workstation. There is so much room here. He's had all his computers set up and been busy away editing while we've been away in the motorhome. So if you do want to work on the road, really good setup. So that table has actually worked and you can leave it up for driving. We've done that. We've only put this away for the video, for this review to show you. Otherwise, we've left the table out. Now, opposite there, or opposite me now, there is the bench seat. So we've got this grey fabric bench seat, and these are where your other 2 travel seats are. So these are forward-facing seats, so you don't have to you don't have to rearrange your seating to have forward-facing seats. So that's there. I've actually really enjoyed, because I've had the dinette seats for a while, I've really enjoyed sitting here on site and looking out of the window actually. That's been quite nice. And my cup of tea, I've been all set up there. So yeah, I like that. Right, now under here, I'll talk about that in a second, but here we have 2 overhead lockers. Good amount of depth. They have got shelves, so if you want a full height, you would have to take the shelf out. But as it is, you've got 2 very good lockers, and these are nice, strong hydraulic arms, and they've got a nice clasp to them as well. And I can say that while we've been out, and we've done quite a lot of miles now, nothing has popped open or come undone. So none of those issues. There's also very, very little rattling. We covered that in a video where Jules got some footage of us driving. Compared to our other motorhomes, we've not got that rattling. Now there's 2 thermometers or temperature gauges within the motorhome, one here and one at the back. On the ALDE system, you can set it either to automatic or you can zone it. So the ALDE will operate off the front temperature or the back temperature. So if you want it colder, you can set it to the back or the front. So it means that if this area is going to be warmer, it's not going to trigger the heating to come on or off. So you can zone it. And as I mentioned before, we've got that underfloor heating. Well, you do have a heat curtain. The ALDE heat will come through these vents. So in colder weather, you'll get the heat coming up here as well, from the front area. So that's great. Right, let me zoom this way. Now what I'll do, I'm just going to get Jules to step in, because I'm going to just talk about the control panel, which is here in the doorway. I'm not going to go into all the functions of this because there's a lot of them. Once you understand them, it's really straightforward. I love this panel, to be honest. So literally, we're pressing here and it comes on. You've got various functions. So you've got your lights, you've got your ALDE. Now it says ALDE panel is busy. I'll talk about that in a moment. I'll just turn that off. Now, interestingly, the ALDE panel for the ALDE is actually in the bathroom, but you're not going to use that. You'll control your ALDE off here, the water pumps on here, you can dump your grey waste here, you control your fridge off here. It's got settings where on electric hookup you can actually reduce the amount of draw the motorhome will take. So if you're on a pitch with only 6 amps of electric, you can set the motorhome so it won't overload your bollards, so you're not having to go out to trip bollards. It's a very clever panel. There's a lot going on, but as I say, I've had no issues with it, and I'm not the most technical person, but I do like to understand my panel, and that is really good panel. I've been impressed with that. As we come in through the doorway, there's a couple of hooks for your coats, nice mirror, and there's also a charging point there as well for your phone. So we've been charging our phones there. This is the button, as I say, for the electric canopy, awning, and then there's a little bit of shelving space just there. Right, let's dive into the kitchen. You all know I like a kitchen. This has been a very good space. although this is a 7.5 metre motorhome, just under, because the Mercedes cab is longer than the Fiat cab, you actually don't have as much internal space as you'd think you would have on your standard Fiat-based 7.5 metre motorhome. But because that is the case, what I have found is I haven't lost any space in the kitchen. Worktop space is important in kitchens in motorhomes, and I found this area here has been really useful. I've removed this and had that here. Nice size square sink, the black swivel hot and cold tap, you can move that around. Space on here and on here. There's 2 Dometic gas burners. The little window, that has got a blind and a fly screen. This all illuminates on a night time. There's an extractor and further lighting here. This has been a really nice space to use in this kitchen. Now above here, we've got more little LED lights, and then we have these cupboards. So I'll open these up. These are a matte surface in a cream, just off white colour, with the black handles. Shelving, more shelving. This is a practical cupboard as well. And then more shelving here. This one actually goes back. Obviously we've got some bits in here because this is our motorhome, so we've got some bits in there, but it just shows you how we've used the space. We obviously put more food in here when we're out and about on our travels. Coming down, the cutlery drawer, we haven't had a cutlery tray given, so we haven't got one, but I believe you would get one. I've got my oven gloves that Jackie made. This is a lady who makes these caravan oven gloves, so thank you to Jackie. And then a Thetford oven. Now this is not a grill and oven, it is just a gas oven. As you know, I don't do much cooking, so I'll be honest, I haven't tried it yet. I really must do. Under there, nice pull-out drawer. This is where I've been putting pans. These are all soft close, and when you're on your manoeuvres, they've got a little locking mechanism. So if you turn these, that'll then lock these drawers. Same on that side. So your drawers aren't going to fly open while in transit. And then these are handy. There we go. Drawer, another drawer, and then this is where the bin is. I like this. So you've got a bin here, so you can put obviously bits and pieces in there. Keeps it all out of the way. So that's the kitchen area itself. Nice amount of room here. Yes, it narrows here, but you're gaining the worktop space. And then we come to the Thetford fridge freezer. Now, it is flashing, obviously, because we haven't got it set up. We're not on electric hookup at the moment. This is, you operate this from that control panel. It is the 142 litre tower fridge and freezer from Thetford that I absolutely love. You are going to get a freezer compartment. Now this will run off electric when you're on electric hookup, it will run on gas when you are off grid, and when you're driving along, switch it to your 12 volt and it'll keep it cool while you're on the road. Under here, there's another little cupboard. I've again found this useful for items here. You can see how I've used that. There's certainly plenty of storage. Right, we'll do the bedroom and then we'll do the bathroom on the way back. So if I now make my way up this way, I'll start on the beds and then we can come back down. So as you can see, longitudinal beds. On the Sportivo, it's the 565. If you see 65 on the Coachman range, it means you're going to get longitudinal or single beds. If you see 545, it's an island bed. The full-size Travel Master does have an island bed model, but on Sportivo, you're just going to get these longitudinal. These are good size, these beds. These are 196 centimetres long and they're 78 centimetres wide. And what they have, I don't know whether I'll be able to show you it or not, but these mattresses are unbelievable. You're going to get springs and memory foam. You're going to get both. I've honestly never had, let's just see if I can see it under there, there. I've honestly never slept on such a comfy mattress. We've had problems over the years with mattresses. As you may have seen if you watched other videos, and where memory foam has basically just given up on us. Whereas these, the spring and then the memory foam, absolutely unbelievable. Even Jules has had absolutely no problems. So incredibly comfy beds. Now, as we make our way round in here, the ALDE tank is, well, the header tank is, you can make some adjustments there. That's what's behind there. On the walls, you have got this sort of nice, almost like felt material, cordy material, just to soften it up. And again, the lighting running all the way around, some shelves. And then these little lights, I'm just going to lean over in my very, very feminine way, as you know. What's really good with these little lights is if you want brighter light, you can flick them up like this. When you want a softer light, you flick them down, and you can just use the light from these two little light bars here. Really, really nice soft lighting. Then you're going to get speakers at the back here, and then this padded headboard, nice soft padded headboard. And then as we come round, you've got some shelving here, plug socket, USB charger, a light switch, and then 4 of these overhead lockers. I'll just open 2 of them so you can see in. These aren't huge, but I've got towels and a blanket in there, but you can get clothes and bits and pieces in these, so 4 of those. And then above me, we've got another sunroof here, a light strip, and more another sunroof. If you were wanting to have a air conditioning unit fitted, you can do that. It's not a standard, but you can fit it, and I would imagine they may utilise one of these potentially, but obviously speak to your dealer. The ceiling, nice and padded as well for insulation and soundproofing. So that nice padded feel to it. And then coming along down this side, so as we make our way down, we've got further shelving, and then another television point up there and a plug socket as well. So you can watch television back here if you wanted to fit a bracket and your TV. Now the steps, couple of steps up, and then you dive onto your beds. Ours hasn't got a centre cushion here. I believe on the 2025 new model, there is a centre cushion, but check with your dealer on that. Right. Under here, so this is where we store our clothes. Now when you open it, they are illuminated. You can see their storage at the bottom. That is where you're going to keep the table leg when not in motion, and in there is where the aerial's going to come in. Then you've got a couple more shelves, and then on this side you've got a more sort of deeper storage area, and then the shelves for storage as well. And that's my tyre inflation machine, just in case anything goes wrong or I need it for my e-bike. Before I dive out of here, I'll just show you up here. I forgot to mention the Wi-Fi. That is where the Wi-Fi comes in. You're just going to need a SIM card for that, your own SIM card, which I'm sure many of you will have an idea about what who you choose for that. And then coming down, on a night time, if you need to turn the lights on, you can operate them on this switch here. And the lights as well, even the main lights have a really nice dimmer function. So as well as the mood lighting, the dimmers can come up and down, so you don't have to have your lights on incredibly brightly. Now, this is a good one. Now to me, because this is, I say it's a 7.5 metre motorhome, so you think, well, why is it an all-in-one shower and washroom? And it is because of that longer Mercedes cab. And we've got space being utilised elsewhere, because to be fair, as I always say, if you're spending a lot of time in your motorhome toilet, you're not having a very good holiday, are you? So there is the compromise here. It's an all-in-one washroom. Now, for some people, you won't be bothered. It's not a compromise at all. It is a very usable space, and I'm going to go through that as I go inside. So now the door, this is interesting as well. So on the door, you're probably wondering, why is there a bar down it? So what Coachman have done is this bar is basically to stop any potential warping of their doors, because sometimes door warping can occur on leisure vehicles. So that's what that's for, to stop that from happening. Now, if I go in, what I always say with all-in-ones is, and I haven't done this as yet in the Sportivo, but I have done it in the past, is if your water pump's running and you accidentally catch your shower tap, you're going to absolutely drench yourself. So just always be careful with that. Now in here, you can get this little bit here. You can actually get to the pipes behind there if you need to get in. You can see the shower with the black head. Good amount of headroom. I know people have asked if Jules can get in the shower and demonstrate it. We won't be doing that on this review because we're doing this now, but you can just see the amount of headroom in here. And then what you do is you unfold the screens to create a full shower screen. So this is going to come away from there, and on this side again, these Velcro straps are going to come away. I'll just fold that out so I can demonstrate that now. You will need to have closed the bathroom door. Obviously, don't do this with your door open, but these come across, this folds across here, and then you have made a shower cubicle. It is not a bad size, actually. I'll just fold it away so I can talk to you, because you don't need to see me just stood in there, do you? So to be fair, it is not a bad size. I have been in here. I know I tell you quite a bit that I like to shower on board. I do. I've used it. It's not been an issue. And even with that smaller water tank, it hasn't been a problem. But if you both want to shower on board, you're going to have to sort of consider that. Right, let me just bob that back there. And then I'll put that away in a minute and we'll continue. So that's your shower cubicle. There is, for ventilation, a sunroof there. I mean, what I'm pleased with is there isn't another window being put in here somewhere, because I'm not keen on windows in bathrooms, even with a frosted glass on there. So we haven't got that privacy issue. Good size shower, as I say, absolutely no issue. And when it drains, what's really interesting, there is one plug hole that we can see. When you turn the shower on, there'll be a noise and you'll think, what the hell is going on? What this motorhome does, because they're designed for extremely cold climates, in the plug hole there is actually a pump that will suck the water out as it goes down the plug hole and send it straight to your grey waste tank. Same when you are winterising the motorhome, it will do the pumping to make sure there's no residual water stuck down there that's going to cause an issue if there's a harsh frost. So it is good that you're not going to get a load of stagnant water in your motorhome either while it's on your driveway or wherever not being used. Right, coming round, Thetford swivel toilet, so you can manoeuvre that however you want. And it's fully tested, you can close the door, even somebody big like Jules, you can close the door when you're sitting on it, not an issue. Coming through, there is the sink area. Now, the one thing, I've obviously washed my face on a night. These cupboards, they do come out a little bit. So that has been sort of my main compromise that I found, is that there's not as much headroom as I would like. But equally, we have got these really good size toiletry cabinets. And when Jules and I are away, we've got quite a bit in here. That's the ALDE panel that I mentioned, but you don't want to be touching that. Use your big panel. The bars, I talk about this a lot. When you're on the road, you don't want to get on site and all your toiletries fall out on top of you. And these are just a push. Push the little button so you don't get little grubby marks on your glass. And here we go. So you can see how everything's kept in its place. So yeah, really good. And then there's another little storage cupboard just under here. That's where I keep my toilet rolls. And then there's places to hang towels. Lighting, nice lighting in here. The switch for that is on here, and these are dimmable as well. Now this is a conundrum for all Coachman Travel Master owners when they see this this bendy bit. Is it for a hand towel or is it for a toilet roll? Well, for me, it's a hand towel because it's bent, but I'm not sure where you're going to hang it on there. So that could be your multi-purpose. Is it toilet roll or is it hand towel? Let me know what you think. But that is the bathroom space. I'll put all that back afterwards because we don't want to spend too much time stood in our all-in-one washroom. Right, let's head back that way then. So coming back out, we've done the bedroom, we've done the kitchen, and we've done our lounge space as well and had a look around there. Let's dive back outside of the Sportivo and we'll just have a little summary of all those points. So, you're probably wondering, what do we think of it, Jules and I? Well, first of all, the questions I had when we collected it, I think I've answered them. Mercedes or Fiat? Wow, next level, honestly next level. If you can afford a Mercedes-based motorhome, you would not be disappointed with that at all. That is a brilliant bit of kit. And if you have crosswind assist, when it kicks in for the first time, you will have a near-miss heart attack, because I certainly did. You'll know about it when it activates, but the safety features are fantastic on this motorhome. So Mercedes, big yes. Second question, is it really a 3.5 ton motorhome? Yes, it is. Jules and I have shown that when we took it to the weighbridge with our stuff in it. So if you don't have C1 and you want a Mercedes, here it is, not a problem. You can obviously go to 3,900. I also wanted to know how Jules and I were going to get on with the door on the near side, because our motorhoming experience has always been European motorhome manufacturers with the door on the offside. What we have liked is, yeah, we're finding that getting our heads back into reversing onto pitches instead of driving in, we sometimes have to just think about that. But with this motorhome being built in Sweden, to me it still feels European. It doesn't feel like a UK motorhome. I get in there and I still have that European motorhome feel that I personally really love. But my door's here, and yeah, we're getting to grips with that. But in terms of everything else, obviously all the equipment's on it. If you say, well, what would I fit extra? To be fair, the only thing I'd maybe want would be an aircon unit. If you wanted self-levelling, you could fit that. We've used our levelling ramps a couple of times now, but you could fit the self-levelling system if you had the extra money. But otherwise, in terms of what do I think to the Coachman Sportivo, I've been really impressed with it. And I've said a couple of times now, for the money against its competition, I don't think you're going to get much more motorhome for your money, if I'm being honest. And in terms of prices that I've seen on forecourts now, because of the way the motorhome market's gone, you're going to get a considerable amount of motorhome for that price. So do have a look online. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put links to Coachman down here and anything else that I think might be relevant, and then you can have a look. If you're wondering about insurance, if you are interested, I have recently done a video about insurance and just what we've had to put on here because of the value to get it insured. But our insurance premium with Caravan Guard, £794 is what we paid for the year, which for a motorhome of 114,000, I don't think that's too bad really, and compared to what we were paying before. So there we go. Yeah, the Sportivo. Jules and I got a few more travels. We are heading off this week and then we're going up to Sweden. We're taking it back home. Hopefully they won't want to take it off us. But yeah, we're going back. We're going to do a tour of Europe for about 3 weeks. So that's coming next on the channel. So look out for that. Right, if you have got any questions about Mercedes, motorhomes, weights, anything like that, this particular motorhome, put them in the comments and obviously I'll do my best to answer those for you. Hopefully you've enjoyed having a look around the Sportivo. I think I've covered most things. I could go a lot more into it, but I'll leave it there. Yeah, there we go. Thank you to Mr. Moo's Caravan Park at Skipsea near Hornsea who've let us come and film today on this site. It is appreciated. If you want to stop here, we've stayed here a few times. They've got an adults only section, a family section. The sea is literally just there. And they've got an ice cream farm. Oh, what more do you want? It's a winner for me. Right, thanks for watching as always. So as always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.